Three, two, one. Three, two, one. Three, two, one. Three, two, one. Three, two, one.
Welcome to BHawk Live. You all know who I am. I am Spurge, the OG of the BattleHawk world. And welcome, as you see right up there, BHawk Live. Hey, I was supposed to have a special guest tonight, Mr. Bill Alexander from the Yacht Club, but he had a family thing come up. So, hey, you know what we always say here in the X fan world, BHawk Live, family always first. So, hey, no worries. We're going to break down the games and all of that stuff. Well, we're going to break down the BattleHawk games because that's what this show is about. The BattleHawks. That's what it's about, right? Is it? I don't know. I think so. I think it's about the BattleHawks. Is it about the BattleHawks? Of course. Look, I'm in my BattleHawk shirt. There's the logo. And right behind me is the dome, the Battle Dome. As you see right there. Whoop, look, it's the BattleHawks field and their new lights. So, what do you guys want to talk about? What do we want to talk about with the St. Louis BattleHawks? Let's talk about week 6, shall we? If you remember yesterday when me and Arlington did X-Fan Show, we talked about all 4 games. And unfortunately, for the weekend, for a Friday night game, the BattleHawks just happened to be, unfortunately, the worst game of the weekend. The lowest scoring game, the lowest total yards in a game. You know, and hey, guys, on this show, I have sat here and complained and griped and saying that Manny wasn't the option, all of that stuff. We all wanted Max to be our quarterback, but the real question is Max really the quarterback? Is he the one that we really wanted? Because regardless of what I said about Manny and his passing and all of that, Manny was a great rusher. Max is a great rusher. Max, not really a great passer. Only 93 yards, a 37 completion rating. 7 for 19. What's up, Antonio? What's up, Sandy? So is Max really the answer to the BattleHawks? Yeah, we beat Arlington, but we only beat them 12-6, right? We only beat them 12-6, people. Now listen, is that really impressive enough to do it? Is it to keep moving forward? Sandy? No. I picked the BattleHawks. Arlington picked the Renegades. I picked the BattleHawks. Sandy. I picked the BattleHawks. I mean, look, again, I'm going to go back to the game when we played them when we played Michigan, right? What's up, Marco? Marco wanted me to pick his Renegades 2 weeks ago, but I didn't. Or last week. He wanted me to pick his Renegades, but I picked the BHawks. 2 weeks ago, I picked the Panthers, and they won. But again, I'm going to go back to this. 9 for 12, 124, 1 touchdown from Max Duggan. Now, again, only 294 yards in that game against the Panthers. Only 292 yards with Max Duggan under center in the game against the Panthers. Yes, Sandy. Marco, tell Sandy. 2 weeks ago, I picked the Panthers, and they lost. Last week, I picked the BHawks, and they won. Plain and simple. Okay, so that was the game against the Panthers that we had with Max as our quarterback, right? So we're going to go to week 4. This is the game that Max came in. Okay? This is the game that Max came in. When Manny got hurt. Okay? This is the game that we lost. Max went 8 for 17 with 78 yards and 2 interceptions. Now, mind you, bottom line, Sandy, is you're right. We won. We kept our eyes on the target, and we won. But, Sandy, again, this is what we got to look at. We got some important games coming up in the near future. And I'm going to just tell you how I feel. Look, in that game against the Renegades that we lost in Arlington, we only had 157 total yards. Okay? Now, mind you guys, remember, I bashed Manny Wilkins. I just said I didn't trust Manny. I didn't have faith in Manny and all of that stuff. In the beginning of the year, I said that Manny or Duggan should not be our quarterback. I said it should be the rookie kid who is now on IR. Again, here, in the week that we lost to the Defenders, we had 173 yards. And we lost to DC. Manny went for 16 for 29, 147, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. You guys want me to keep going back every week after week after week? I will, but I won't. So now, the question I have to ask is we're playing the Showboats. Yeah, you're right. Keelan, that's who I said. That's who I said the whole year should be our starting quarterback. Should have been Chevron. That's who I've said it the whole time. That's the guy that I have the faith in. That's the guy that I have the faith in. Is that guy, okay? I'm just pointing out the obvious here on this show. Even though I believe that we're going to win, but we're going to break that down anyways and all of that good stuff. We cannot be sleeping on the Showboats, people, because this could be a trap game for us. Because let me explain something to you guys. What this Showboat team is starting to do. In two games, Dresser Wynn has 442 yards passing, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. He is 39 for 63. He is right now with just 2 games. He is the number 9th best quarterback in the league. Oh, by the way, you want to know who's above him? Manny Wilkins, who is now on the IR with a busted Achilles tendon. Much love to Manny and all of that. Where does our guy Max rank in 5 games so far? He ranks number 11, 24 for 49, with 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, guys, you know how we do this here on BHawk Live. We pick the better people and who is the better teams. Since I'm flying solo because, like I said, Bill Alexander had an emergency and he couldn't do it. You're right, Sandy. Apparently, coach does have no faith. Well, now Chevron's hurt. He's out. He's out for the rest of the year. Listen, if we go by quarterbacks and all of that stuff, okay? You guys tell me who you think is the better quarterback after the stats that I read. Which quarterback do you want behind center? I know who I want. And he doesn't wear this color. I'm going to give the edge to Memphis for the QBs. Because you got to remember, the Memphis game was the best. Me and Arlington said the Memphis game was the best game of the week. The score was 21-20, 496 total yards in that game. Okay, in that game is what they had. Now I'll break it down, and I'm going to even give you some more stats about Dresser, the man who's playing with the chip on his shoulder. And I got to interview the guy at the game. Coach Turner has complete faith in Dresser Wynn. He was 22 for 34 with 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception with a 65% completion rating. You're right, Sandy. Our quarterback cannot cover. Our O-line cannot protect our quarterback. That's why I'm giving this one right here for the quarterbacks. I'm giving it to Dresser Wynn, and I'm giving it to Memphis as the better quarterbacks. That's exactly how I'm doing it. Now, we move on to the running backs. Here's where this is where things change, because now, in my opinion, Max Duggan is more of a running back than he is a quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He did have that one big play to Akeem Butler that accounted for the majority of his yards on Friday night. Okay. Accounted for the majority of his 97 passing yards was that one play to Akeem Butler. But let's go to the running backs. We have Jacob Sailors, who leads the league now that Balaj is gone with a broken collarbone. Much love to him. Speedy recovery, but he is done for this season. Jacob Sailors sits at 6 games, 312 yards, 4 touchdowns, averaging 52 yards per game. And as we move down the list, at number 9 is when we see the Memphis running back Prince. I mean, our defensive players did play good, Sandy. I'm not dogging it. Let me get through the breakdown, Sandy. Let me get through the breakdown. Our defense played good. If you like defensive games, then the Arlington and St. Louis game would have been your defensive game. But, Sandy, I'm going to ask you a question. Out of Dresser Wynn and Max Duggan, who's the better quarterback? That's what this show is about. Who is the better player? Who is the better position? Sandy, take your rose-colored glasses off because I love you. Who's the better quarterback? Dresser Wynn or Max Duggan? That's the question you have to ask yourself. If you go by stats and you don't go by fandom, it's Dresser Wynn is the better quarterback, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but he is. He's just the better quarterback. Plain and simple. The better quarterback. Much as I hate to say it, that's what he is. You guys can all sit here and argue with me, but, hey, how we always like to do it, stats don't lie, right? Well, I mean, I got people on here that don't even know what they're talking about half the time. Like right here, what Michael Lathrop says, the BattleHawks are not the same team. Different version of itself and vulnerable. Memphis has a legit chance to steal a win. Of course, Sandy again. I mean, Dresser got hit. Dresser actually took some very big hits last week in Houston. Very, very big hits. He actually had a hit that it took him out for two possessions because he got hit so hard and rocked. Now, again, we don't really have to worry about that with Max because, again, Max Duggan is the 10th best rusher in this league at 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, and averaging 36 yards a carry or a game. That's pretty good for a running quarterback. Very good, especially in this league where every single game counts. Like I said last week, if the UFL is getting exactly what they want right now, if the St. Louis Battlehawks run the table, and when it gets down to that week 10 where they play DC in DC, and we beat DC, the home field advantage comes right here through the dome. UFL is getting exactly what they want right now because they want that home champion. They want that championship, and they want the Battlehawks in it. That's what they want. And right now, there's a very good possibility that we could run the table and get it. But we can't lose any games. We have to run the entire table to get it. You know, like Daddy Ed said a couple weeks ago on his show, The Bottom Line, against DC and San Antonio, he said, that's a trap game. San Antonio is going to win. And what happened? San Antonio won. What's up, Eric? San Antonio won. There are things called trap games. I'm not saying this is. Not saying this is, but we're going to break it down and see if maybe it is. So that's how it sits right now. So if I have to go running backs, okay? If I have to go running backs, and I'm going to include Max Duggan in this as a running back, you have to go Battlehawks. Hands down, you have to go Battlehawks. That's all there is to it. Because of Jacob Sailors, because of Max Duggan, you have to give the slight edge to not even a slight edge, a way big edge to the Memphis show or the St. Louis Battlehawks for having the best running back core. Hands down. Anybody want to argue that with me? So if you do, I'll show you how I'm right. And that's just how it is, whether you like it or not. I'll wait. Anybody? Okay, that's what I thought. Nobody. Okay. Now, yes, Sandy, the dome would be full. Now, let's go to the receiving core of this team. Of these two teams. Okay, so as I sit here and I scroll down, so let me look right now. Oops, number 2. Eric, we're not talking about who has the best running back core. We're just talking about the Battlehawks versus Michigan, who has the better running back core. Oh, we're talking about. So you ask me, Michigan has the best quarterback, the best running back core in the entire league. Hands down, it's Michigan. Hands down, Michigan. I agree with you. But in this game, who has the best running back core? Memphis or St. Louis? It's got to be St. Louis. Now, quarterback, it's got to be Memphis. As much as I hate to say it, it's got to be Memphis. So now we go to the receivers. Sandy goes, we do. Really, Sandy? Well, let's look at that. Shall we? Who has the best receiving core? Right. St. Louis has the best running backs, for sure. But do they have the better quarterback out of Dresser Wynn and Max Duggan? Gave you the stats. It would lean towards Dresser Wynn being the better quarterback of these two games. But now let's look at this. Shall we? Memphis has 2 of the top 10 receivers in this league, with the man who is number 1. Nope on what, Eric? Nope on 1. Nope on what? Please explain. Nope on what? Who's the better quarterback? Dresser Wynn or Max Duggan? We're talking quarterback. We're talking about arm, control, all of that stuff. That's what we're talking about. Not running ability. We're talking about arm control and the way they see the field. That's what we're talking about. It's not Max. It's not. It's not Max. Because here, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you again. Why it is not Max. Oh, okay. Not Max. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So it's Dresser. Right. So far, we're all on the same page. It's Dresser win. Memphis has the better quarterback. Battlehawks have the best receivers. Okay. We're all on the same page so far. Right now, let's go to the receiving core. Memphis has 2 of the top 10 receivers in this league. What does Sabrina say? Memphis all day. This is our trap game. The defense is going to help hold us down. Sabrina, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that because I do agree with you that this is our trap game. I 100% agree with you that this is our trap game. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's about 150 Battlehawk fans traveling to the stadium, to Liberty, this weekend. This is definitely our trap game. I 100% agree with you that this could be our trap game. Jonathan Adams, who is possibly the best receiver in this league, in 6 games, he has 338 yards. He's averaging 13 yards a catch and averaging 56.3 receiving yards a game with 1 touchdown. Now, we go all the way down to number 8, and it's Lister at 231 for Memphis. 231 with 2 touchdowns, and he's averaging 39.5 yards a game. Now, I'm going to keep going all the way down this list, and ladies and gentlemen, the Battlehawks do not have a receiver until the number 13th, Jacob Sailors, in 6 games, 202 yards, no touchdowns. Then I go all the way down to number 18, and that is Mr. Akeem Butler, who has 154 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he's averaging 51.3 yards a game. Now, right, Eric. I mean, look, I'm going by what I see on the stat sheet. Even though Akeem, and then look, I'm going to go down to number 16. They have D. Anderson, who was an absolute monster last week. An absolute monster for Memphis. Led their team in receiving yards, everything. He is at number 16th with 182 and 1 touchdown. Then Akeem Butler is after him at 18. Let's see. I keep going down the list. Then we have Darby at 109, but he is all the way down at number 32. And then you have Prince again, who's only got 9 yards. So if you go by the stats, because that's how you do this. That's how we break this down. We're not talking about the fandom hearts or anything like that. But I am going to put one thing in a perspective. Akeem Butler has only played 3 games this season out of 5. Okay? So if we take that into consideration, that's true, but this Houston team we're seeing now is a totally different team with Jalen McClellan starting 3 games in a row. It's a totally different Houston team. This is a totally different Memphis team with all the turmoil they're getting because now they finally have their quarterback in Memphis. And you got to remember, this league is all about every single game matters. Every single Sabrina, I agree with you. If Houston would have played Jalen in the beginning, that game would have been closer and we possibly could have lost that game. Every single one of these games is like a championship game. I got the chance to interview Jalen McClellan, and I asked him that question. I said, so let me ask you something, QB1. What is it like playing in these games? He said, every single game is like a championship game for us because every single game matters. Every one of these games matter to these guys. That's coming from a guy who's playing in this league. Says every single game matters. I've asked Jordan Ta'amu. He says every single game matters. There you go, Russ. Russ finally got it. Call is law. Thank you, Russ. Every single one of these guys believe that the games they're playing is their championship game. Championship game. Amanda from the A-Team just got to interview Coach C.J. Johnson today. She asked him, I'll even tell you the question she asked him. It was a great question, too, that she asked Coach Johnson. She said, what are your strategies do you find most effective to motivate your players going into week 7? And how confident do you feel with Jalen McClellan going into this week? Because it is unclear that other teams are having quarterback struggles, which they are. Every single team is having quarterback struggles, except Houston right now. Except Houston right now. They have possibly, well, and Michigan. You know, Duggan's still trying to find his footing. I think once he does it, I think it'll help us, right? So back to the receivers. Back to the receivers. Even though Butler has only played 3 games, we all know that I'm not a fan of Butler's. I'm going to give the slight edge to the BattleHawks for our receivers, just because Akeem Butler is back. Now, we go to the O-line. I mean, listen, we can all agree. We can all agree. Our O-line is terrible. The BattleHawks O-line is terrible. I'm as much as I love them, it's a bad O-line, guys. Come on. I mean, it's a bad O-line, right? Come on. Memphis, in the last couple games, under Dresser, he's averaging over 200 yards a game, getting the times to pass the ball. Eric, wait, you don't think our O-line's terrible? You don't think it's terrible? Have you watched these games? Have you watched them? I'm not saying our O-line caused Manny to get injured. Our guys don't have a lot of time to set up. Our quarterbacks don't have a lot of time to set up behind that pocket back there. You know what I'm saying? They don't. Max hasn't had a lot of time. Manny hasn't had a lot of time. You know. Well, and he may. I'm just going by what I'm seeing. I'm just going by what I see. And Eric, you might be right. Max might drop back past his protection. You absolutely might be right. But again, isn't that what you want? Is you want that quarterback to stay in that protection zone. That's why I'd have to give the slight edge to Memphis, because Dresser stays in there. Yeah, I'll give you that Manny, that Duggan does hang on to the ball too much, but I think it's because he has that run first mentality like he did at TCU. I think that might have a lot to do with it. I mean, let's not get it twisted. Max Duggan was a great quarterback at TCU, Heisman Trophy runner-up and stuff like that. But when you get to a professional level, I mean, hey, you're right. It may be excuses. It may be excuses, Eric. I don't know. But when you get to a professional level, what you did in college necessarily doesn't always work anymore, because now you're playing against guys that are faster, bigger, stronger than what you were used to in college. These are guys that have got a few years underneath their belts. These defensive linemen and stuff have a few years under their belts as professional players. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work for everybody, you know, I mean, but maybe the competition's caught up to Duggan because he's playing at more of a higher level than at college. But some would argue that college is a slight higher than the UFL. Some would argue that point, but, you know, this is professional ball, right? Who knows? But I'm going to give the O-line, because over the last 2 games, what I've seen from Memphis is Dresser get up in that 200-yard mark and stuff like that. Problem with Memphis, which I'll break that down in a little bit. So I'm going to give it just to Memphis, just slightly. Now, here it is. Eric, you said it right here. Let me go back to it. The D-line is where we are right now. You're absolutely right. We have become a defensive team over the last 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Memphis defense has been playing really good as of late. He goes, LOL, it is professional. Hey, I know, right? Sandy, I'm not, again, Sandy, that's why I'm saying I'm giving the slight edge to Memphis for the O-line. But again, Sandy, it was like Eric said right here. Is Max dropping back past his protections? Or is he holding on to the ball too long? Or is it really our O-line? It's just not that good. But again, I'm going to go more with what Eric says here. Duggan's dropping back past his protection, and he's holding on to the ball too long. That's the way I'm going to say it. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I can buy that excuse. I can buy that excuse. I mean, like Sabrina says right here, they were making fun of him because of the way he throws on TV. He was quite embarrassing, LOL, which they were making fun of Duggan on the way that he throws the ball on national live television. Can't deny that. They were doing it. Now, here's the big question. Who has the better D-line? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that could be a pretty hard one. So let me read some stuff to you. So the total tackles for the teams. Memphis is number 2 in the league for total tackles with 410 tackles, 241 solos, 169 assists, 17 tackles, 4 losses, and they're averaging 68.3. Where we, the Battlehawks, well, Eric, I'm a little biased too, but let me read this to you. Where the Battlehawks rank number 6, where they are at 386, 232 solo tackles, 154 assists with 24 tackles for losses at 64.3. Forced fumbles. Memphis ranks number 3 with 5 people. 5 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. Battlehawks ranked number 5th. Ranked number 5th with 4 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries. Interceptions. This is where we take the slight lead with the interceptions. We have 8 interceptions with 1 touchdown for 141 yards. The Showboats have 1 interception. 1. Now, let me go here to block kicks. Showboats with 1. Battlehawks with none. Now, we're going to go to sacks. Battlehawks are at number 3 with 13. The Showboats are at number 8 with 6. Tackles for losses. The Showboats and the Battlehawks are 7 and 8. Battlehawks being number 7. Showboats being number 8. Pass defenses. Battlehawks. Well, I'm just going to go with the D-line. I'm going to back off the D-backs for a minute. Let's back off the D-backs for a minute. I'm going to add a new one on here. D-backs. I'm just going to go with the front 7. Okay? Now, if we look at it that way, with the tackles, forced fumbles, and sacks, and tackles for loss, who has the better D-line? That's the question. Now, again, I'll read it to you. Tackles, 412 to 386. Memphis has the lead, right? Forced fumbles, Memphis with 5. Battlehawks, 5th place with 4. Sacks, Battlehawks with 13. Memphis with 6. So who has the better D-line? Ooh. So the Memphis lead in over the Battlehawks in 2 categories. And the Battlehawks lead over Memphis in 2 categories. Interesting. But Eric, I gave you all the stats just for the D-line, the front 7. They both have, out of the 4 stats that we consider for the D-line, they each have 2 apiece. So you go by sacks, okay? Eric goes by sacks. Battlehawks have PETA. You're absolutely correct. Battlehawks do have PETA. Absolutely correct. We have PETA. Okay? You're right. But, ladies and gentlemen, the number 2 tackle leader in UFL, what team do you think he's on? Memphis or the Battlehawks? Which team do you think he's on? Memphis or the Battlehawks? I'll give you guys a minute on that. Who has the number 2 total tackler out of these 2 teams? Give you a minute on that one. While I drink my hot water. Anybody want to take a guess? Memphis or St. Louis? Come on. I know somebody upstairs that know this one. Anybody? Actually, we'll get to that because they're actually almost tied, Eric. It is Mr. Steel Chambers from the Memphis Showboats is the number 2 tackler in this league with 53 total tackles, 34 solos, 19 assisted. Nope, Sandy, it's Memphis. He has 1 tackle for loss. He is averaging 8.8 tackles a game. The closest Battlehawk to him is number 8. And you guys are going to even be shocked on who it is because it isn't this man. And it isn't this man either. It is Mr. Cole with 40 total tackles, 22 solos, 18 assists, and 1 tackle for loss. The next guy is Eli Walker for Memphis. He is at 39 tackles. And then I go all the way down to number 15, which is Willie Harvey at 34 tackles. And I keep going. Let's see. And then here goes Michigan and near with Vandenberg at 33 at number 18. And then you go down to number 24, and that's Nate Meters at 29. Now we go to sacks. You have PETA at number 1 for sacks. And let's see, passes defended, which we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that because we're doing that with the O-line or the D-line. So there's the stats on how these guys are trending up. And let me see, Travis Feeney, ladies and gentlemen, is number 35th with 24 tackles, total tackles. So again, I ask you, who has the better D line? Now, you want to ask me, You want to ask me? I will tell you this. So I'm going to go look at something here. Let's see. Where do I want to see it? Where do I want to see it? Where do I want to see it? Is it right here? Now, you want to go by the total yards given, total yards per game. The Battlehawks have the most, number 4 at 5 at have given up 577 for the most total yards in the game. And the Showboats are at number 6 with 711. Sabrina, we're not talking about the D-backs yet. That's next. So Eric is saying us. Sandy is saying St. Louis. Our D-line, I'm going to do a push. For the simple fact is that they're both evenly matched. They both are ranked in 2 of the tops in the categories and the 2 biggest things, right? The tackles and all of that stuff. The teams are ranked right there with each other. So for me, it's going to be a push. It's just, that's the only way you can do it. Only way you can do it. Oh, we're going to get to that. You want that? Okay. We'll get to it. We'll get to the points given and points earned. Because you guys are going to be shocked by that one too. Right now, we go to the D-backs. Sabrina's saying right here, CPJ. Listen, I mean, it's easy. It's the Battlehawks have the better defensive backs. Hands down, we have the better defensive backs. Can't argue that point because that's the truth that they have that. But now, and Eric asked up here, who has the tougher schedule? Well, Eric, it's kind of all the same because they all play the same teams. They all play the same teams at least once. I mean, you can give the Battlehawks a slight edge on it because they play DC twice and they play Arlington twice. The Brahmas, I don't know what the hell happened to those guys. They've just dropped off of the board. But you want to go for points for and points against, right, Eric? So here you go. Battlehawks are sitting at 131 points for with 105 points against them. The Memphis Showboats, 94 points for them to 129 points given. Yeah, Eric said that. 2 different divisions. I said I'd give it a slight edge to the Battlehawks because we played DC twice. But Memphis has got to play Birmingham and Michigan twice. I mean, Michigan is sitting at 156 yards, 156 points for them with 111. Birmingham sitting at 111 points for and 82 points against them. So, I mean, I just said that. But how do you think, I mean, we're 1-1 against Michigan. 1-1 against Michigan, and we're 0-1 against Birmingham. No, it's 2 different divisions. Like I said, I give the slight edge to the Battlehawks for their strength of schedule. Just a slight edge. That's it. It's all right. Just by a fig. I'd give it to them. Now, the D-backs, look, we all know that it's the Battlehawks. The Battlehawks probably have the best. Okay, by a field goal, that's fine. But I can tell you this right now, and anybody that wants to sit here and deny it, and Coach Beck said it in his pregame interview against Michigan, that Coach Nolan did him a favor by taking Bryce Perkins out of that game because they would have won that game against the BHawks if Bryce Perkins would have been in that game the entire game. If it wasn't for Effling throwing that pick six, you take that pick six away, Michigan wins by 6 points. But again, that's what if. Again, that's what if. Question is what if Jay Bates didn't hit a 62-yard field goal? Would we have won that game? Just saying. Coach Beck says, I got to thank Coach Nolan for taking out Bryce Perkins because we had no answers for him. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? I know you're talking about the kicker last year. Jake Bates, 62-yarder. I know. But again, I'm saying, you take the pick six away in this game against Michigan, it's a totally different ball game. We would have lost that game. Totally different ball game. We probably would have lost that game. Just, I don't know why he did it. We've seen that the two-player system doesn't work in this league. Don't know why you would do it. I mean, I think that Coach Beck has said, I'm not doing a two-player system. Doesn't work, you know? So, you know, now, with all that being said, we're sitting here and we're coming into this game. Mother's Day weekend. I will tell you this, when you go down to Memphis, they have those, whatever those things are called, those Hulu Zulu thingamajiggers. You know, these things, you know, you're blowing them. You know, they sound like this. Those damn annoying things is what they sound like. You hear them the whole time. You can hear them up in the damn press box. They're so annoying. But St. Louis is used to playing in noise because I don't think the fans in St. Louis know that we're supposed to be quiet on offense. We love to cheer while we're on offense. I don't get it. So we're used to playing in noise. You're right, Sandy. We did. We got lucky that they couldn't. You're right. We did. This ain't a game of what if. This is a game. This is what happens when you win. Okay? Now, if you take the past 2 weeks of what has been happening with these teams, okay? You take what's been happening in the last 2 weeks of these two teams. What just happened there? My camera went out. Where'd my camera go? Boy, Arlington is a beautiful man, isn't he, people? He is a beautiful, beautiful man. Where'd my camera go? Why'd my camera go out? I don't get it. What the hell just happened there? Let's try this. Let me do this real quick. Give on my camera just went out. Ah, there it is. It's back. Okay. Sorry, people. I don't know what happened there. But if we go back for the last 2 weeks that Duggan has been the starter and compared to when Mr. Dresser has been the starter for these two teams, let's compare something real quick. We're going to compare the yardage of these games, right? Okay, the passing yards. So Max Duggan with 124 yards against the Panthers in the win, which was a great game, by the way. Great game. And you guys do realize Michigan has two of the highest scoring games, so most yards in a game with over 400 yards. Twice they've done it. It's amazing. Amazing. Then we're going to go to Mr. Dresser here. See what he did against 2 weeks ago, because that's how we're going to do this 2 weeks ago. Totally different quarterbacks. You're absolutely right, Sandy. Two totally different quarterbacks. Oh, no, he didn't even play in that game against Michigan. Okay. All right. Well, that don't count. Well, now we're going to go to week 5. Or we're going to go to week 6. Oh, wow, guys. You guys ready for this? This is going to be crazy. This is going to be nuts. I just saw this, and it just absolutely blows my mind. 93 yards for Duggan last week. Wow. That is absolutely mind-boggling, people. With Dresser. Wow. 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 207 yards. Wow. This is crazy. This is crazy. Duggan has 217 yards in the last 2 weeks. Dresser in the last 2 weeks. Mind you, the last 2 weeks, he has 442 yards. In the last 2 weeks, Memphis but we may see it. You're right. We may see a quarterback change. It may be Silvers, but I don't know. In the last 2 weeks, the Battlehawks have had 6, and then that game against Memphis or Michigan. Oh God, that game was bad. Oh man. Whew. You're right. Duggan does have 2 wins. You're right. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. Not disagreeing with you, but we're saying, is this the trap game for the St. Louis Battlehawks? So Brendan brought it up. Is this the trap game for the St. Louis Battlehawks? That's the question we're having to ask. So in the last 2 weeks, 24... 20. The Showboats have 44 points. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. They each have 44 points in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Now, the Battlehawks in the last 2 weeks have given up 27 points against the Panthers, 6 points against Arlington for 33 points. Michigan. Wow. Are you guys ready for this one? Michigan has given up 40 points. Do we believe in Max Duggan? I don't know. Do you believe in Max Duggan? I don't know. I mean, he's only accumulated in the last 2 weeks 217 passing yards. He's got some great running yardage, don't get me wrong. But he's only gave up 217. He's only got 217 passing yards and like a 42% completion rating. Again, Eric, the thing with this scheduling is that's what so if you go and look at the standings, okay, here's what they say. The strength of this schedule, okay? They have the Battlehawks at a 500% schedule, hardest schedule. They have the Memphis Showboats at a 611 schedule. Strength of schedule. Memphis is at a 611. Battlehawks are at a 500. So who has the harder schedule? Eric, I'm not disagreeing with you. Not disagreeing with you. And we went 1-2 in those games. You're asking me about the strength of the schedule. I just gave it to you right from the website, from the UFL website. I'll put it to you. I'll give it to you. Right here, their strength of their schedule. Right here. It tells you. Right here. Right here. Strength of schedule. Right there. There it is. You see Battlehawks at 500. Strength of schedule. 6-11 for Memphis. I'm just pointing out what it's showing me. That's all I'm doing. Sandy, does it get better with each game? Does Max get better with each game? Because the first game that he started, he had 124 passing yards. And the last game, he had 93. So is he getting better? I don't know. That's the question. You're right, Eric. But so, Eric, you're proving my point. You're asking about the strength of the schedule. Who has the harder strength of the schedule? If you go by the UFL.com and their standings, then that means Memphis would have the harder schedule to play, if I'm not mistaken. Battlehawks have an easier one. It was like I said a few weeks ago. The Battlehawks got to run their next 5 games to get to week 10 to play DC in DC. And we have to have at least DC to lose at least 2 games. 2 games. I mean, listen, they very well possibly could have been 2-0, 4-2, but with all of the coaching turmoil and all of that stuff that they've had there, they've had no real consistency as a head coach. With everything that's going on there. Okay, Sandy says she believes in Mac. She believes in Max, which is fine. Now, we get to it. I gave it to you. And if I go by the last 2 games, where the Battlehawks have gotten 44 points to 33 points against them, Memphis has gotten 44 points with 40 against them. They're on the road, and the Battlehawks, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you guys really want to hear this, but they are 1-1 on the road. Sabrina said this could be our trap game. But to believe it or not, I don't think this is our trap game. I think we have 2 more trap games coming up. I mean, Eric, I know there's about 150 Battlehawk fans going down there. Now Memphis does have at least, they do have some fans. They're about 1,500 or so. They have some fans. And like I said, they got those Ula, what are those things called that you blow in soccer? Those Umazuma, whatever the hell they're called, right? I believe our trap game is next week, week 8, with Birmingham here in St. Louis. I think that the Birmingham Stallions will be the first team. That's what they are. That's what they are right there. They blow those things. And like I said, you can hear them all the way up in the press box. Those damn things are loud and annoying. As much as I would love to give Memphis the shot, I don't think this is our trap game, and I'm going with Battlehawks for the win on Mother's Day. That's how I see it. Break it down again. Quarterbacks is the Memphis team. Running backs, receivers go to the Battlehawks. O-line goes to Memphis. I did a push on the D-line, but when you go to D-backs, I give it to the Battlehawks, which gives them, and then in the last 2 weeks, they are 44 for 33. Points against, points for, and points against, where Memphis is 44 for 40 against them. This game is going to be, I think it may be close, maybe a two-possession game. Yeah, and you're right. They are showing more grit since the DC loss. But again, this is not our trap game. We should walk into Memphis and walk out with the win. Battlehawks win. The one that's going to hurt us, there's 2 games coming up, week 8 and 9. Those could be our trap games. We go into week 10 playing it. Guys, this is BHawk Live. I just said it. Battlehawks for the win. Next week, I have Boomer coming on from the Birmingham Stallions to talk about the St. Louis Battlehawks and Birmingham. Bill, I hope your father gets better. I will see you, everybody, this Sunday at the Battlehawk Memphis game. You're right. You're right. It is too much parity to say an easy win. That's why I'm saying this is not our trap game. That's why I'm saying week 8 is our trap game against Birmingham. They will be the first USFL team to walk into the Dome and beat the Battlehawks, because I don't think Skip Holtz is going to tolerate that stuff. I think he's going to talk to the doorman up there in DC, UFL fan zone. I think he's going to go talk to the doorman to see how to stop the crowd noise like they did here in DC. So, Battlehawks with the win. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining me on BHawk Live. Make sure you tune in. TX Fan Show with me in Arlington, where we break down everything of the week. Go to our Twitter page. Stupid Talk. What's Stupid Talk? What is Stupid Talk, Eric? Please tell me. Please tell me what's Stupid Talk. Tell me what's Stupid Talk before I go. That's what I want to know. Because you know me. I love talking stupid all the time. So I ruffled some feathers. I always keep my eyes on the target. I always keep my fingers moving, and I always keep my eye on the target. Eric says Birmingham is going to fold in the Dome. Eric, I hope you're right. But when you've only lost 4 games in 3 years, that's a well-coached team. I will see you guys next week right here on BHawk Live. I will see you guys Sunday at the game. See us. Thanks for joining.